I find that having a fixed, or let's say having a cap on the overall price for most firms anyway, seems to sharpen the mind up a little bit, right? Like I'm not just going to go on these luxurious calls where we all spend lots of time introducing ourselves with 50 people on the line and all that sort of jazz, right? We're going to say, well, look, you're on a fixed fee. We don't want to be wasting time on this, so let's get cracking. Again, it goes to the idea of value. So again, I don't know if that makes it too expansive, but fundamentally, a lot of lawyers are still stuck in the mindset that this is a high-touch profession, right? That you're gonna get in there, and what the client wants is FaceTime, and you get the benefit of my full attention. And again, thinking back to B2C, that is not the experience people want. If you were one of the reasons why Uber it got taken up so enthusiastically by people is because they didn't have the experience of having to call a taxi line and speak to somebody and do all that sort of stuff, right? Like that was all just friction. And that friction is exactly how people perceive that kind of high touch outreach now, right? I don't want high touch outreach. I want a solution. As a customer, I want speed and convenience across the board. And I want that in my personal life, and I want that in my business life. So how are we delivering that in a way which is tech forward? Again, you can see how that's just at odds with this kind of super high touch business model. And it goes towards that idea of a value proposition. If your product is high touch and high spend, I suppose there's an argument that actually the protection of the billable hour is going to come by stripping away all the stuff that shouldn't be built on the billable hour. And then you go, okay, in this one set of circumstances where I need, like you lawyer, are the only person in the world who can genuinely advise me on this ultra bespoke issue. Well, in those circumstances, then you can name your price. And if you do it via a billable hour, that's fine. But one of the things that we find when we talk about this kind of stuff is a lot of private practice counsel probably will say, oh, well, actually, you can't standardize what it is that we do. So thinking about those layers of margin being stripped out, yes, you can. Yes, you can, because you're not capable in many instances of expressing why it should be so bespoke, right? And even one NDA and one DPA, to an extent, show us those kind of great movements. Show us that even things that are relatively complicated, DPAs and so on, can in fact be standardized, right? So you'd rather have it standard and therefore repeatable and therefore speedy and therefore convenient. That's much more important than bespoke, unless you're absolutely clear as to the benefit of the additional time cost and cash cost that comes with something being bespoke. Actually, you just want convenient and tailorable in circumstances that are meaningful for you. So yes, there is a set of circumstances in which I can see where the billable hour may be defensible, but the defensibility of the billable hour is getting smaller and smaller and more bespoke. And the number of lawyers that can claim to be working in those bespoke circumstances legitimately is now declining.